How you doing? My name is Janell, and this is my Octave love story. Self-love to me is definitely taking the necessary time to yourself. I think by removing any distractions or extra people and just really taking that time to focus on yourself, love yourself, and do something that's strictly just for you. I think a lot of times I get caught up in doing things for other people and thinking as if I'm doing stuff for me, or I'm taking that time like, okay, I did it by myself, I was alone, but I really didn't take the time to focus on what I needed, or achieving a goal, or working on something that I need to improve on. So I think most of the time self-love is really just taking that time away from everything, any distractions, my phone, my friends, family, and finding something that really allows me to feel as if I'm pushing myself or empowering myself or making myself feel better, at least for the day. Self-care day for me typically starts with my skincare routine, or at least trying to implement a skincare routine. It's literally not the same every day, or I'm not as consistent as I want to be, but at least I know that I'm starting my day with really just focusing on myself. Also, I like to run certain errands that are my favorite things. So that would be to go to the store to go shopping or stuff like that, where I spend time with myself or go out. And then the last thing that I don't even know if it's considered, but I've told myself it is, I bought myself season tickets to the Atlanta Dream games, but for one seat, so I can go by myself and literally enjoy the environment, the atmosphere, the energy, the people, the game, and really just take the time away from everybody and everything to really focus on something that I love. I think it's a balance. I do kind of pay attention to what other people want me to be. I think I went through a phase in my life of feeling as if I wasn't giving back, or I wasn't a part of anything bigger than myself, and it kind of tore me down for a huge period of time in my life. And I think that's kind of when I became more selfless, and I became more of trying to be what everybody else wants me to be and be there for them and provide for them and empower them. And then it also comes to that side of still trying to figure out who I want to be for myself and how I can improve on that and really come into terms with that. I think I haven't taken enough time to really mesh both in equally, so that I'm not battling it or confronting it, I guess, in that aspect. But I think most of it, I'm defining myself as a person who's truly trying to find that balance of being what I should be for others as well as who I should be for myself. And I think I'm still working on that, and I'm hoping that with year 25 coming up, I can really tackle that to where it's a good balance on both sides, and I could really say I know who I am. It was in the summer of 2019, and I felt like at that time I had changed my major a lot. I was in college, I wasn't a part of any organizations, I didn't have many friends. I kind of was really staying to myself, and I'm going through this phase of I'm seeing what everybody else is doing, I'm seeing what everybody's accomplishing around me, and I feel like I'm not really doing anything. I'm maybe I'm not really understanding who I am or what I can do, or really, I guess, who I could be in the future. And I think during that time, I literally took the summer to really face everything, to really understand who I am, to literally face my childhood trauma, to face things I had going on at home, and then surround myself with people that were like-minded or at least ahead of me. I was never I didn't want to be around anybody that was behind me or was looking at me to push them all the time. I literally wanted to be around people that were either on the same path as me or pushing a lot further than I was, just so I could be motivated and I could really figure things out. I think that was the only time in my life where I didn't know who I was completely. And I feel as if putting myself around the proper people definitely helped me get to that point. It's amazing. I think it's definitely one of the best feelings ever, just to see how far I was able to push myself. Definitely because it's one of those moments where I didn't tell anybody what I was going through or what I had going on, and I just took it upon myself to just take the proper steps. And I think it also makes me feel good when I have other people who are I'm trying to do the same thing, or I look up to you, or I look to you for guidance, or stuff like that. So I think it's been definitely an amazing experience just to look back and then get to this point and feel like this. I think the number one thing is taking other people's thoughts and opinions in a little too much. I think I get caught up in doing that when I really should just be listening to myself sometimes. And when I do that, I start to see that I'm not as happy, I'm not enjoying it as much, I'm not doing probably what I should be doing. So I would probably say that's the only scary part, is this really trying to make myself not listen to everybody else, or take their opinions in, or take what they think, their thoughts and emotions in on certain things, and really just focus in and hone in on myself. I think sometimes I'm not realizing that I'm listening to other people, and I'm having to go back oh my God, you just did all of this, or you felt like this because you didn't even realize you weren't listening to yourself. I think that's really the scary part, of really just not listening to myself sometimes and not even noticing that I'm not. I would say I don't think it's had like maybe like a negative impact or really impact with like my relationships. I haven't had to have any tough conversations. Actually, I take that back. I have had to practice distance between people at certain points. I think sometimes I do consume myself with people full time. I'm around people a lot of the time. So I've had to have that conversation like, I need a break. Like I need time away from certain friendships. I need time away from family. I have had to have that. And some of those conversations were super easy for the people that understood. And for others, it was a little more difficult just because of the way I had to explain it. But I do think that's actually the only impact, is creating distance between people so I can actually take the time to really gather myself. I definitely take the time to look in the mirror and can see my progress over the last couple of years. I've seen my older version of myself as well as the present version, as well as looking towards that future version of myself. I think that I'm still growing in a lot of areas. I'm still trying to understand a lot of things. I'm still getting through a lot of things. However, I feel as though I'm at a point in my life where I've gotten pretty comfortable with myself, with the people around me, and what I want to put out to people and how I want them to view me, as well as how I view myself. So I think now that when I'm looking in the mirror, I feel a lot stronger, a lot more confident, a lot more powerful when it comes to really anything, all aspects, just because of my past. So I think now I feel like a great person. I do. And it's crazy. I've never said that to myself or to anybody ever in my life, but I feel great. I feel amazing, even though there's so much more that I should be doing, or I feel as if I can do. I feel like I'm in a great place in all aspects, mentally, emotionally, physically. And I think I'm probably at one of my best points in my life that I've been in my entire life, I would say right now. I recommend Octave to everybody, of course. That's number one. I definitely try to put people on to what I do, whether it's like actual products or it's like routines that I go through, or hobbies or little side things that I do that I feel like it's like self-love. So I do try to either tell people about it or I document it. So I post it on Instagram or my social media, or I talk about it or give a review or anything like that. And I feel as if so far it definitely has made a great impact with people buying the products or copying some of the same things or asking me questions just to get more information on it. So I would say for the most part, I have been able to impact those around. I do want to tell everyone to definitely take the time for self-care, to definitely do the proper research, as well as make sure that it aligns with exactly who you are and not the people around you with the suggestions. Of course, that is helpful, but definitely to take the time to figure out what you want to do, what you're passionate about, what you love, and really take it head on. And definitely want to wrap it up by saying shop Octave, and I definitely appreciate being on the Octave Love Story. I hope to do this more.